And with us now to recap last night's events is Tessa Weinberg, WBEZ city government and politics reporter. Hey, Tessa.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. You were at the convention very late last night, I hear. I know many listeners have.
Yes.
No doubt we've seen the photos or clips, but I want you to take us inside, Tessa. What did it feel like and look like? Was it packed?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely the vibes of just a huge party happening in the United Center on the convention floor. You know, I got to be on the floor during the ceremonial roll call. That's when we had, the surprise appearance from Lil Jon, and you see all the states going one by one in the spotlight as they make their pitch, giving a little history and slice of life of their state. But, the crowd had bracelets on that were lighting up, and everyone had their signs, and it was really just kind of electric, the energy of all the people. People were having fun. They were dancing, while it was, of course, at the end of the day, this is about politics, and it was really a party vibe.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you went there because I want to do something here. I want to compare the energy of the two political conventions this summer. So first, here's House Speaker Mike Johnson kicking off the roll call of the states officially casting their votes at the RNC in Milwaukee.
Rule 16 of the rules of the Republican Party, state law, or state party rules, regardless of the delegation's announcement. The official results from each state are those announced by the Secretary. Now, without objection, the complete list of votes recorded for president shall be considered as announced. To conduct the roll call of the states, I'm pleased to announce...
Here's, as you mentioned, Tessa, rapper Lil Jon introducing the state of Georgia at the DNC roll call last night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to officially nominate Kamala Harris for president. Five, get loud, another round of shots. DNC, turn out for what?
Wow, what a difference. I mean, it sounds energetic, to say the least, Tessa.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was fun to get to be on the floor for the roll call, and
I mean, were you dancing?
Crowding around. We were all kind of looking at each other like, oh my God, can you believe it? There wasn't really room to dance is the thing. We were all crowding around the Illinois delegation. It was jam-packed. The whole time I was wondering, where is the camera that's going to show the Illinois delegation on the big screen? And it was really one state before Illinois that they ran over. They kind of had to push the photographers out of the way so they could get in place for the live shot. So, yeah, it was definitely, a crowded but fun environment.
Right. And it was stacked with speakers, too, right? Who kicked off the night?
Yeah, so we had a who's who of speakers, and there was a lot of Illinois folks. We had Mitch Landrieu gaveling in. We had performances by Common, by Patti LaBelle. And the first person from Illinois who we really got to hear speak was Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. And then we later heard from Senator Tammy Duckworth. We heard from the Obamas. And it seemed like the theme really was of contrasting, former President Donald Trump, the Republican presidential nominee, and what he represents versus, what they say Democrats represent, what Kamala Harris will bring. And that really felt like the theme of the night of saying, if we reelect Donald Trump, this is the path we'll go on, versus if we reelect Kamala Harris, or if we elect Kamala Harris as president,
right?
These are the values that we're choosing instead.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, Tessa, the Obamas really shined bright last night.
Oh, yeah. It felt like there was just so much presence, I feel like, especially when Michelle Obama was speaking. And I didn't get to be in the arena during that, but, it was, the crowd just seemed like it was going wild. And especially when you just heard her talk about, just on a personal level of what her and her husband experienced when they were running, when they were president, when she had that quip of who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs.
Right, yes.
And I think it seemed like a lot of the reaction was, wow, they really are such amazing speakers. And that, I think, shone through last night when they were the highlights closing out the night.
Absolutely. Even, Barack himself said, oh boy, I think I'm the only person stupid enough to go after Michelle, right? That was funny. A lot of the messaging, though, of course, it was targeted at the Republican presidential candidate. Here is Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. He also took a dig at former President Donald Trump. Let's listen.
Donald Trump thinks that we should trust him on the economy because he claims to be very rich. But take it from an actual billionaire. Trump is rich in only one thing: stupidity.
I mean, this could have been an awkward moment, Tessa, but it wasn't. Fill us in.
Yeah, so, we had Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker speaking, and he came immediately after Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' speech, who, was pretty clear in his speech. He was calling out directly, saying, billionaires should not be allowed to buy elections. And, then right after we have Governor J.B. Pritzker, who is a billionaire, coming up to speak. Pritzker has poured in over $300 million of his own fortune into his own campaigns for governor. But he really, like in that clip, confronted his personal wealth head on and painted that as a foil to Trump. And, in the arena, there was just rowdy cheers when he said that line of take it from an actual billionaire. But, I think it wasn't lost on folks the timing of him coming right after Sanders' speech. And Pritzker overall really used his speech to take a lot of jabs at Trump. He had lots of quips and instead contrasting that he says, folks like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they're going to lead with kindness. That's what Democrats will lift up. And you didn't see any, love lost with Kamala Harris, even though Governor J.B. Pritzker was passed over to be her vice president. There were no signs of bitterness in his speech. He was all rah-rah Kamala Harris.
Yeah, so interesting. Well, day 3 of the convention is underway. I know that'll keep you busy, Tessa. We've been talking to WBEZ City Government and Politics reporter Tessa Weinberg about the second day of the convention. Thank you so much for checking in.
Thanks for having me.